And last but not least, we have Kent Bierly here, the president of the ANBF, American Natural Bodybuilding Federation, my partner, all right, and promoter of a ton of shows. Okay. We wanted to leave him for last. We got to know all the new promoters that are involved with the ANBF. Now we're going to end this with the ANBF founder, the creator, and promoter himself and competitor, Kent Bierly. So we're going to get, obviously your audience and a lot of the ANBFers out there already know you, but to a new and expanding audience, I wanted you to introduce yourself, tell us what, fuels your love for the sport and, how your personal journey from competitor to promoter to federation founder has shaped the American Natural Bodybuilding Federation.
All right. So yeah, it's well, first of all, I watched all of your videos and I'm like, well, when is it my turn? Like when do I go? I mean, I'm like chomping at the bit to get on here and talk to everybody and introduce myself to the people out there that don't know me and or they think I'm some other type of person like a monster or something but I'm really just a regular guy that loves the sport of natural bodybuilding. Um, and I love to travel all over the place and share my love for the sport. So I'm really excited about 2025, all our new opportunities, all of our new promoters. Working with you has been great. So far, it's been great, Ryan. So far you get an A+ from me.
Thank
But
you.
uh, but yeah, I think we're a good team. We both have our specialties, and and we're learning from each other, and yeah, so far so good, and I can't wait to get this season started. I mean, natural bodybuilding's been a way of my life really since the first time I should say bodybuilding's been a part of my life since the first time I picked up a plastic cement weight when I was 12, 13 years old, and it's just gone ever since. I love to compete. I love to promote the shows. I love to help people compete. I love what it does health wise for people. It's a whole nother world than the untested versions. So yeah, I'm excited. The ANBF is keeps me going, keeps me involved. And like you said, still love to compete. I mean, I still get up there and fight it out with the 20-year-olds. And sometimes I win, sometimes I lose.
Yeah, and
But I
that's one of the things that people it always circles back to that. Anyone I talk to or who knows you or has recently got to know you is, you know, it's Kent doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk. You hold multiple pro cards across multiple federations. You attained the IFBB Pro status. You compete everywhere. So much to the point where I can't keep up. People ask like, "Well, where's Kent?" I don't know. I can't keep up. I can't keep tabs on where Kent is going to be. He's going to be everywhere. So you know, why do you compete everywhere?
well,
Everywhere
number
except AMBF. Everywhere except
Yeah,
AMBF. That's
can't
one.
can't do ANBF.
Yeah.
I have to. I'm a very competitive person. Growing up, I had a typical older brother that thought he was the best at everything. So I've been competitive my whole life. Played all sports when I was younger. Once my football career was over up at UMass because I tore up my knee playing football in the snow with my friends, I'm like, well, that's it. I'm just gonna keep working out. And then I was good at it, and I love the camaraderie of bodybuilding. Again, it just wasn't natural bodybuilding back then because there really wasn't any natural. It was all just bodybuilding. But the lifting the weights, the whole feeling of getting yourself healthier and living the lifestyle and being stronger and being not sick all the time and just being healthy was really my main motivation. And then as I started to compete and I did well, I was like, well, this is pretty cool. I could actually do something I love and actually get paid for it and make it, it's an expensive hobby, but when someone hands you a check, you're pretty grateful for it. But then I just kept going and it's just became really my whole basically I built up my whole brand. I didn't always own a gym. I worked for Bally's Jack LaLanne back then. But then I worked in retail for 10, 11 years. But all throughout my life, I've competed, and it just was part of me sharing what I really like to do. So when I started the ANBF, it was just a normal extension of I think I can offer something. The best way to know how to do something is to be involved in it. So by me competing in all these different shows and different organizations is really just how you see what's right and wrong with certain things, and just you can feel it and you can present it better to people if you're part of it. So that's why I still compete. I mean, I don't care what organization it is. If they'll have me, I'll do their shows. So I've enjoyed doing WNBF shows, Nancy's shows. I enjoyed doing the OCB shows. I enjoyed the NGA, the USBF. I just like to go out there. I wear my colors proudly. I wear my ANBF sweatsuit, and people respect me for it because I'm there as a competitor. And so when I put on my ANBF, this is what's ironic to me, and I think about it all the time. And sometimes my wife just looks at me and shakes her head. When I put on that ANBF sweatsuit, I'm just a competitor. So I am far from the president of the ANBF when I have my ANBF stuff on, because that's when I'm all business. I'm in there and I'm duking it out with the best in the business. You know, the top guys in natural bodybuilding, I'm toe to toe with as a person, as a competitor. So it's when I put my Iron Man, my Superman cape on, that's when I'm a regular person, and that's when I enjoy it the best. But I take those experiences back to the ANBF to try to make the same experiences for the ANBF people. What I've learned and what I've appreciated traveling around the country, the world in some aspects, doing what I love, I try to create that same feeling within the ANBF. So I'm like a undercover special agent when I'm competing, and I'm like, that was awesome how they did that. I love the way Sully did that. I love the way Nancy did this. I love the way Jack did this. I bring those ideas back. I learned a long time ago in my nightmare of a retail life that I had, my one guy that I actually respected in the business, there was one person I respected, is my vice president, Bob. He said, when you go into a competitor's business, you don't look for what's wrong, you look for what's right, and you bring that back, and then you improve your business. And that's what I try to do. So wherever I go, I'm always looking to improve on what, like we talk about things back and forth. We've mentioned it before, how, we like what they do, and we bring it back to make our experience of our members better. And can't do that unless you get out in the field. You could be a guy sitting in the office, running your organization, but if you're not out there doing it, you're out of date.
Yeah.
So I'm current on everything.
Gotcha. And now if we bring it back now, competing everywhere, going everywhere, let's rewind back. What was that original vision for the ANBF? Where did that come from? What was, just briefly bring me through that mindset of when was the aha moment? I want to do this. And what was the vision? What was the catalyst that led to that decision? And what was the vision?
Well, I tell you, I mean, I remember like it was yesterday. I mean, there was a year I did 13 shows. I did all the big shows. I mean, I did all the big shows. Travel around with the same bunch of guys. You do all the big shows. I did the Cape Cod Pro, then the Yorton Cup. I was doing the top USBF show, doing all these shows. And of the 13 shows that I did, it was a long year. 13 shows. I won 8 or 9 of them. And I'm like, it's been a great year, but to be honest, I think this is, sometimes you reflect when you're by yourself, because there's a lot of moments by yourself when you compete. And I'm like, it's been a great year, but I got to be honest, if I had to rate these shows that I did, there was probably 4 or 5 of those 13 shows that I would recommend other people to do. And some of them were and it hurt me to say that, because some of those shows were shows that I've done 2, 3, 4 years in a row. I tried them out. I liked the promoter, so I tried out a show. Disappointed. So, and I didn't make it known what shows they really were. But ironically, the one that made me make my decision that I wanted to do my own thing was I was promoting for the USBF, the old USBF at the time. And I did one of their shows, and it was just, uh-oh.
No, you're good. All right, so little technical difficulty. Kent is back. Let's finish up that thought. We were at the catalyst, the show that made you realize you wanted to start the ANBF.
Right. So then, out of the 13 shows, 4 or 5 I would have recommended people do. The other ones, like I wouldn't waste your time. And it's just, so then I thought, I reached out to the organization that I was promoting for, and I offered, I said, look, I said, I got to be honest, my show experience at the last art, because I promoted for this organization. So I said, look, it was one of our shows, and it just was not, I would never do it again. It was just, everything was wrong with it, from just everything involved, from judging, from drug testing, from vendors, from lighting, facilities. So I said, I think we need to, I think you might need to think about getting a quality control officer, somebody that can manage these people. There was no representative from the organization there, so it just was like he was just doing whatever he wanted, and it was awful. So the person I spoke to said, "Well, I think I don't think that's necessary. I think that we're doing fine." And I'm like, "All right." So that was when I decided I did the one more show that year of this organization, and then I got the idea to start. Maybe I just start my own organization to try to improve on the things that matter to me as a competitor, to make the competitor experience better, and also at the same time making it a better experience for the audience, which is a lot of times that gets overlooked way too much. It's you got these people paying money, ticket money, to watch a show, and many times they're in and out in an hour, and the whole show experience is not really, it's not a good show experience. It's like, I'm there to watch this person, and okay, I gotta leave, I gotta go. So first person I reached out to was Mark Lobliner from MTS Nutrition, Tiger Fitness, and I gave him what I thought. I said, look, I'm not looking to take over the world, I'm not looking to be the biggest organization, but I think that I could bring something new and something different, something, there's like, do things different, change formats. I had the idea of a straight through format, how we do it. People had done it, but there was really just a shrunken version of a regular show. I said, I think we can make it more entertaining for the people in the audience, so they can see the routines. They can see they could see the judging. They could see the routines. They could score along with the judges. They can see what's going on. It's all condensed into one. They get a better idea instead of just showing up for routines and watching people get trophies handed out. This is back when everybody did the morning prejudging and the night shows. I said, but make it more entertaining. Who says the head judge has got to be like no personality? Make the way the format is, the head judge basically acts as the MC as well. So it's more entertaining. Crowd laughs. Crowds have fun. So Mark said, well, I don't know. I think there's a lot of organizations as it is now. Maybe, I don't know if that's a good idea. The next day he reached out and he says, you know what? I was thinking about what you said. You're right. He says, I'll help you. If you need it, I'll help you. And ever since then, he's been our number one. He's been with us the whole time with product. He'll come to shows when we need him to come. He's been very generous with, giving out product for the goodie bags for the winners. So and that was it. The first year we had six shows, and we had 9, then we had 16, and then then we got into 20s, and it was like I was promoting a lot of them. We had a couple promoters here and there. We had shows in Detroit, and so it worked out well. And then now we're at a spot where we're still known as, we do things. We like to have fun. We like to have a good time. We don't take ourselves too seriously, which is definitely an advantage. I mean, it's a business, but yeah, you want people to have fun. It's the entertainment business. And I like to entertain. I'm at every show. I like to head judge the shows where I can. If I don't have a lot of competitors I don't really have any competitors in shows out of state, but I just enjoy being part of it. So, I mean, it's worked out. We got a lot of good competitors. A lot of our competitors go on to do well in other organizations. And it's been a fun ride. but it's definitely, I'm excited for this year because it's like ANBF 2.0. I mean, we got a new and improved version. So I'm excited. But yeah,
So,
it's been good. It's been hard, but any business is hard. I mean, it's a hobby, but it's requires a lot of work and a lot of time, which I have no problem doing. So yeah, I'm all ready for the challenges of 2025 for sure.
to the hardcore AMBF loyalists, those who have been there for a while, what do you say to them about the new approach? Is the new approach, is the new vision, is it that much different than your original and just maybe executed differently?
No, it's just we're just no, we're getting no. It's goes right in along with what we were doing. I was in a stalemate for a few years. Since after COVID, we're kind of like we're flat in a stalemate because some of the people that used to promote, they couldn't promote because their businesses weren't doing well. We had a couple of gym owners, and so now the diehard AMBFers, I get more people coming up to me after shows and say, this show is awesome. We have to figure out how we can get more people to experience your shows. I've done shows in this organization. I've done shows in that organization. But every time I come to your show, no matter how many people you have, whether it's 7 people or 88 people, it's always the same. It's always entertainment. It's always fun. And my family actually enjoys coming to watch. So that's how I know we're doing the right thing. And I know people are all about, the coaches want numbers. They want titles. They want this. They want that. But you still have to have it where it's entertaining. It's for the whole family. It's not just for the competitors. And by making the stuff that you're putting out there with your videos and your awards and stuff, that's awesome because it just creates a bigger show atmosphere, and the people are really you're gonna like what you're bringing and what we're all bringing this year. It's just like we just got we're new and improved, and that's fine because that's why I'm here. I'm here to make it grow. I've been trying to make it grow for 12 years, so I'm still here. They haven't kicked me out yet.
Is are you confident with this approach and this direction, this
Yeah.
partnership, this, do you think that this is something good that will make change? If you're speaking to both audiences here, my demographic and yours, why now? Why me and you? What do you feel
Well,
about that? Because a lot of people on your side don't know me, or don't know certain, they don't know me well. They may just know an internet persona. Um, just as my demographic, some people may not know you.
yeah. Well, they will soon. No, I have to be honest. I've been reason why I've been hanging on. I mean, I could have given up a long time ago, but I'm not a quitter. The reason why I've been hanging on is I was waiting for the right group of people to be involved, the right person who I could lean on, the right person that I could share ideas with, the right person that was also a different thinker than me. Not didn't want. I went through a bunch of. I've had a bunch of people around me that were just, yeah, okay, well, they were workers, but they weren't. I needed the balance of, okay, ideas. I needed people to be able to have that same commitment to say, yeah, we can do this and we can do that. And but sometimes you get people. I mean, I joke all the time. It's all fun until it becomes work, and then the people drop off, and which I understand because they don't have any turf in the game, or it's like it's my thing. So I've gone through different people to work with. I've watched. I never forget the first time that I met you at Nicole Weeks' show up at Montclair State, and we had gone back and forth a little bit because of somebody that you were all over.
Yeah.
And I asked you nicely to lay off, and your response was funny. I won't repeat it on this, but then when I saw you at that show and you were there with I this Rabbit and your wife.
No, Springer. I was there with Tracy Springer,
Yeah, Tracy. I'm sorry. Yeah, Tracy.
the other
And,
Tracy.
yeah. So then I went up to you. I handed you a flyer, shook your hand. Because we had never met. I was like, Ryan, Kent Bierly, nice to meet you. And all you did was nod your head. And I walked away. I'm like, wow, you little. I said, there you go. So then you reached out to me 2 days later or something, a day or 2 days later, and you said, I appreciate what you did. I appreciated it. So that was, how many years ago was that? That was a freaking long time ago.
2016
Yeah.
or 7,
So
17,
and then
17.
we would comment on similar things online, and then I started seeing where you said, well, I could promote better than anybody. I'm like, come on, Ryan, let's go. Because you had what I don't have. I'm not a techie guy. I can't put together videos. I can't do all that stuff. I'm a worker. I'm a thinker, idea guy, but I can't do what you do. So I'm like, come on, let's go. We can do it. And then you started doing more and more. And then when we started talking the end of last year, I'm like, because I felt that you brought what I needed to push the ANBF to new limits. I'm not saying we need to be world breakers, but we're definitely in a better position. So I've been comfortable, and people ask me, how's it going with Ryan? I'm like, it's freaking awesome. He does what I can't do, and I can do what he doesn't either want to do, or because I'll travel everywhere. He's, it's like we can get everything done, and we're no issues. So I'm happy with how everything's working, and I can't wait. Like, I was excited just to get a Dave show, and it's a small little show, but we still had a good time, and people loved it. And some of them are doing our show next weekend and down in South Jersey. And then it's all good with me.
If I had to describe my vision in 3 words, it would be technology, structure, innovation. What are your 3 words?
Ooh. Um, that's like a surprise test. You didn't tell me you were going to ask me for 3 words. I could have had something better. What were your 3 words again? I don't want to use the same through.
Technology, structure, innovation.
All right. Well, excitement. Gotta have excitement at bodybuilding shows. You can't have a crowd just quiet. You gotta entertainment. I've always said it's about entertainment. That's always been my base and structure. And the third one.
It's got to be passion in your case.
Well, I was gonna say accomplishment. So yeah, accomplishment and passion. Those two kind of go together. I love giving the meetings before the show on stage. I love giving the meetings before they get their trophies. I love hanging out with them during the breaks whenever I can. I love hanging out with giving feedback after the show. I love to feel what they feel. I love to feel their excitement of how they did. I love when for example, when I do my guest posings and I go out into that crowd, and that's what the sport, first of all, misses very much. We need to have more guest posers that are good and in shape. But it's that excitement, that passion, and then at the end of the show, the accomplishment of what they did and the overwhelming feeling of, yeah, I did it, and that's what I feed off the competitors. We had 2 of our winners from the Nationals go on to win the Orton Cup. I mean, you talk about excitement, and they say it all the time. Oh, we won your show too. So I feed off the successes of all these people that come through our shows. We've had so many champions in other organizations come through our shows first. I mean, we got Marshall. We just got Marshall's entry for the Nationals. So he was an original.
And Marshall, you better come to the Classic.
He did well when he starts early, he does them all. So I wouldn't be surprised for sure. But yeah, he competed in my shows when they were USBF shows. He's been a supporter of us forever. But yeah, the passion it's almost like the passion is just a given. I mean,
It's
when
not,
I played,
sometimes it's not.
you're right.
I've been to a lot of shows where there's there's not a passion. There's not. And the thing is that I think one of the good things about the ANBF is yes, certain things have got to be to an extent semi-uniform and things like that. But I think one of the great things about the ANBF, and people will catch on, they will catch on, is that the passion is there. But for instance, in this specific example, Kent's passion is not my passion. We have two different passions, but we're looking for the same outcome. You want to include the crowd, you want the athletes to feel special, you want the athletes to feel rewarded, and you want to create that environment. You want to have your hand on the pulse. You are going to do things in a different way that I am. And I think that's good. I think that's good. I've never been in for like, other three-letter organizations, not the one that starts with an O. They just look for drone shows. Everything is on repeat. Okay. And there's no personality. There's nothing. I'm not into that. I'm not into that. I couldn't promote a show. If I couldn't put my creative spin on an event, then what's the point? And I
Yeah.
think that's the good thing, and that's the stuff that we need to hone in on with some of the promoters outside of ourselves. Like I'm seeing it a lot with Mike. Mike is picking up the ball and he's running with it. He knows like what type of graphics there are and he's this is how you get people entrenched even before they get to the show. So
Right.
that passion, I think, is a big thing. I think that the promoters and the event have got to have a healthy personality. You don't want the promoter to be overbearing where the whole day is about him or her. You don't want that. But this is an industry based off of, yes, not just competitive bodybuilding, but entertainment and personality. You have a dud person, a dud promoter, a dud judge, a head judge, a dud MC. It's like, how boring is this? It's
Yeah. Exactly.
it is about that excitement. So I think that is one of the things that I'm hoping will set ANBF apart from other organizations. It definitely will set us apart from the previous organization that I was involved with. I'm confident at that. Now, in closing, no, I want you to speak from the heart and speak to anybody who's on the fence about competing with the ANBF, possibly promoting with the ANBF. Well, what do you have to say to those people? Oh, I don't know. I've thought, should I? What do you say to those people now?
Well, I think people need to realize that if you compete in the ANBF, the experience will be, it's always a good experience, whether it's a small show or a big show. We try to give you that comfortable in getting on our stage. We make sure the lighting's good. We make sure the DJ, top of the line DJ. We make sure that the judges are good judges. But the thing about the ANBF too is that there's always the promoters are allowed to, like what Ryan said, you're allowed to add your own twist to things. And at the end of the day, you want to be treated fairly. You want to be treated with respect. You want to make sure you're paying money to do a show, but you want to feel like it's worth it. And I can't. There's so many times after shows, just the feedback is just amazing of how people enjoyed our show, which sometimes makes me wonder, like, well, why can't we get over that hump of being, I don't need to be the biggest, but just being like, one of the first choices or the second choice or the third choice. I get it. There's other organizations that are bigger, but we do offer, it's a breath of fresh air. I mean, and I have always said that the coaches rule the sport. I mean, yeah, but also too, as a competitor, you want to be able to think for yourself. Coaches, if it's a coach, if it's a team event, then yeah, I mean, it's a little different. But if you want to say, hey, I want to go do this show, then you should be able to do the shows you want. But I get it. Team events, but don't be afraid to give the ANBF a shot because you're not going to not enjoy it. You will enjoy it. As far as a promoter, if you want to be involved in an organization that gives you a lot of guidance, but at the same time you can come up with your own ideas and put them on stage. I mean, as long as they're not crazy and you run them by us, but
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like as long as stuff is in good taste and is properly executed, I'm fine with that. Because I feel that if I were anywhere else outside of the gates as a first time promoter and put down on paper some of the stuff I wanted to do and try, I probably would have been vetoed on this stuff.
right,
Now
right, right,
I'm just doing it, and now everyone's like, "Whoa, this is great." It's like, yes, because I sometimes have to lead and show what I have, but because if I put it down on paper or try to mentally pitch it to someone,
right.
it's shut down. It's as long as stuff is done in good taste and it's got good execution, it tells a story, it creates excitement, it's good branding, then do what you got to do. Every show
Yeah,
is going to be different. Every show is named something different, has a different theme. It's you have to play to your strengths and you
right.
have to allow a certain amount of creativity and autonomy.
And then I'm thinking too is I've probably done more shows than any promoter out there, and I know what makes a good show, and I know what makes a bad show, and I know the situations that can arise, whether it's by a promoter or an athlete. I know every aspect of what goes on in a show because I've been in I don't even know hundreds of shows. I've won shows, I've lost shows, I've been, bad judges, good judges, polygraphs, not polygraphs, urine tests. It's just I've seen it all. So it's when I put together a show and I put together, an organization, I do it with the competitor in mind, and that's the first thing. Second thing is the audience, the entertainment value, and I still live by it, and we still look to try to create that edge. We do things. We've been the first in a lot of things in natural bodybuilding, and a lot of the things that we've done have been copied, and that's just makes me feel good. I don't get mad when people copy what we do. I'm excited because it means that we're what I originally wanted to do is make the sport better, have shows that are better, do things that are different, and a lot of things have been copied. So that makes me feel like what I did was successful. Now we need to take the next step and spread it out to more people. Luckily, we're already in the out west. Who thought we'd be out on the Pacific coast our first year? But now we're out there, so now more people will see it out there. They'll see how we do things. They'll see our ways. They'll see our new technology. They'll still see the same good show, good judging, and quality competition. Because no matter what, we get quality competitors. There's quality competitors everywhere. So we just keep going, keep chugging along.
All right. So yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement. We have the old vision, the original vision, just got a little bit of an upgrade. We're not straying too far on fundamentals. I don't even think that you and I were very far
No,
apart in terms of fundamentals. There was like little stuff we had to discuss or go back and forth on and clarify and iron out, but yeah, there really has not been any fundamental differences between the bid and the ask between you and myself. So I think we just got to focus on this year, put forward the best possible product, and make sure everyone sees it, believes in it, and then from there you gain that trust, and that's where you grow. I want this year to be as big and successful as it can be, but I also understand that there may still be some people who sit on the fence until they see some of the changes, and that's what I know we're both working, very hard on to present that new 2.0, that evolution of everything. I still have to prove myself as a promoter. I've never promoted, so that may be looming for people. Hopefully it's not. I've hoped that over the years I've proven that I am very organized, detail orientated, seldom make the same mistake twice. And if I make a mistake, I own up to it. But
But if you make a mistake, I'll be right there to tell you.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone will tell me when I make a mistake. But it's fine because I usually realize the mistake anyway, and I'm already trying to course correct. I
Yeah,
am excited for this year. I'm nervous. I am excited for this year to show, what we got. I'm excited for our big four. Yes, there are other shows out there, but for us personally, me and you, our big four, your Nationals and King's Cup and my Northeast Classic and the Monster Mash. There are other big and successful shows that we have on the schedule as well. But in terms of, you and
yeah,
those are the big four in my view. And we're gonna put everything we got into those and keep this going. So hopefully this has been informative. Hopefully uh, people learn some stuff here. I learned some stuff here, and we're going to make 2025 a very, very good year and a year to remember.
absolutely. No doubt.
All right. Thank you, Ken.
Yes, sir.